So, welcome to the last coaching clinic of the summer. There won't be any coaching clinics in August, and I will resume in September, maybe in a new format or in a different way. I'm considering things and what I might do with the coaching clinics. But welcome to this final one for the summer, which I really hope grounds you and allows you to go away with a fresh perspective on action and getting things moving, getting things done. So today's topic is action without a gun to your head. It's probably one of the most impactful insights that led to my own change or way of doing my business, way of doing things. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, because a lot of people that come to me are coming to me in the place that I once was. And that's quite normal when you're helping people, that your clients are displaying similar traits or similar challenges or similar modes of working that you have overcome, or that you're a little bit, let's say, higher up the level of consciousness on. So you're seeing it more clearly than they are. And so a lot of my clients come to me with a pretty rough experience of their work life, an experience that is filled with pressure, that is about kind of on off, either all or nothing is going on. And I want this to be hopeful to you today, that there is another way. There's another way for us all to be able to create in the world, whether it's in a business or in a job or in terms of our creativity. It doesn't really matter the subject. There's another way for us to be productive and to perform really well, that is not about killing ourselves and is not filled with levels of pressure that make you want to retreat and retract and not go back to what you were doing. So that's what today's subject's about. And I really would like it to support you in a way that allows you to have a fresh experience of your way of working or your way of doing anything. You know, you could have a gun to your head about getting the dishes done in your house. You could have a gun to your head about your weight and how you look. You could be having a gun to your head about, I don't know, men and relationships. I'm not just referring to guns to the head around our work life. And so as you gain some freedom of mind in this area, I hope that you experience an easier time, a gentler internal world as a result of seeing something new here. So as always with our coaching clinics, I do like to start with a grounding exercise, and this will help you just become even more present to what I'm sharing today. So I encourage you to switch everything off. If you're trying to listen to me, but you're also trying to respond to emails or listen to something else or deal with something else around you, just invite you now to come and just be here in this clinic, receiving the insights that you need, the quieter mind that will yield direction and clarity for you. And let's start with our grounding meditation. So you can just close your eyes and place your feet on the ground, and breathing in very gently to the count of 4 through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. In, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. and out. 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Keep that rhythm going. Let yourself be here now. And feel just the weight of your body without judging it. On the chair, on the bed, on the sofa, in the car, wherever you are. Just feel how your spine is supporting you in sitting up or lying down. Just feel every cell in your body working at its highest capacity to keep you functioning in this world. Now I want you to see roots coming from your feet down through the ground, right down to the underground, all the way down to a rock at the bottom of the earth, and wrap those roots around that rock. See this rock emanating divine light. This light is moving up now from the rock, up through the roots, up into the feet, up through the ankles, this golden light. Imagine it as a healing golden light, an elixir of light moving up through the legs, through the kneecaps, the back of the legs and into the thighs, and all the way up, right up into the hips, into the spine now. See this golden light spiraling up through the spine, all the way up to the neck and to the back of the head. And through the front of the body, through the torso, all the way up through the body, right up to the throat, right up through the head, and down through the hair, down into the shoulders, down through the arms, right out through the fingertips. And you're just encircled now in this gorgeous golden light. This is the light of your true nature. If anywhere needs some extra healing right now, you can send it with this light. This light is supportive. This light is cleansing. And just using your vision now, just imagine in front of you this golden path and step up onto it and begin to walk along this golden path of light. And as you're reaching the end of the path, you notice a long-standing mirror. And I want you just to be walking towards that mirror. And as you get there, I just want you to look more closely and notice, where are you holding a gun to your head about something? Let that mirror reveal to you, mirror back to you, the areas or area where you're putting yourself under terrible pressure. And I want you to literally, looking in the mirror, begin to invite healing energy, spirit, divine mind, God, angels, whatever you want to believe in, to come and remove the gun from your head, to energetically take it down. And then just see yourself in that mirror, lighter, freer, easier. Embrace yourself, hug yourself, and tell yourself that you're willing to find a gentler way that doesn't involve scaring yourself or being hard on yourself. Thank the mirror, thank the guide, thank the energy, and even thank the gun, knowing that it may have served you in some capacity, otherwise you wouldn't use it so much. But it doesn't have to continue to serve you. I turn away from the mirror and walk back down the golden path until you reach a little white gate that you'll open and step down, back down into your body, into this moment, into this clinic, into the room, and feel your feet firmly planted on the ground. See those roots coming from the feet, going down through the ground, into the underground, all the way down to that rock at the bottom of the earth, and wrap those roots around that rock. And just when you're ready, come back into this moment. And I'll set the table with a little bit of sharing and then open up to your questions and how I can help you today. So you might have noticed a gun to your head or not. But one of the ways we recognize if we're working from that level of pressure is we feel tension, stress, urgency, and upset. All of those indicators are wonderful friends letting us know we've got that gun going on again. We've moved away from flow and alignment and into pressure. Now, it's very innocent, but you might, I'm guessing you're here because you'd like to find another way. Having a gun to your head, living in tension, stress, pressure, and upset and urgency to get things done is not a prerequisite to action. Even if you've used it as your way of doing things all your life, pressure is optional. being able to go on the diet or do the exercise or make the money or start the business or promote ourselves can be done from a place of gentleness and still have beautiful results. I don't just mean results in the world, but I mean sustainable results. I mean, you end up wanting to continue rather than with the gun to your head, you end up never wanting to go back to the computer or doing the diet and hoping that, you know, you're just making the commitment that you're never going through that again. So the first way you know if you're holding the gun to your head is by the level of tension, stress, urgency, and upset you're in about the subject. You begin to notice the feeling you're coming from. And that informs everything. You know, you bring that energy to the thing you're doing, even to cooking. Some of the best meals you'll ever taste in your life have been made not by the best ingredients, but by people who really were enjoying the cooking they were doing for you. Because there was no energy of pressure, there's no energy of urgency, there's no energy of upset, there was presence. So you want to find a way to just notice the feeling you're in. And just as when we put our hand on a hot stove, it burns and we pull it off quickly. It's the same with those feelings of tension, stress, urgency, and upset and pressure, the ultimate one. It's supposed to feel so bad to get you to back off from it. Now, the innocent mistake we've all made is to assume that if I'm feeling urgent, it must mean I need to hurry up. If I'm feeling pressure, it must mean that I need to continue to work hard and get it done. I must, we've learned to use our feeling state the wrong way. The right way to use our feeling state is to notice the feeling we're in. And if it is flavored with tension, stress, upset, and urgency and pressure, those are really good indicators that we're just listening to Bob the drunk guy in our head again, and he's rambling off a story that is really very optional to whether or not you listen to it. There are times you'll have a deadline, and in those times you may experience feelings of wanting to get it done. You might be on the sofa for weeks on end and the deadline's coming up and suddenly you're just moved to get it complete. That's a helpful urgency. There is helpful urgency. It's not flavored with pressure, it's flavored with productivity. The place I'm describing is flavored with pressure. And that is action with a gun to your head. That ultimately, you just want to become discerning of the feeling you're in and the feeling you're coming from as you're going about your objective. It comes to mind a story whereby I had gained a lot of freedom of mind. And I had noticed that I was living in a lot less urgency. You know, the way I used to do things was to speed up. So the habit was urgency, the habit was speed. And that made for a very pressurized experience of life, not particularly graceful. As I began to see, when I was holding a gun to my head about myself, about the future, about things, it began to quieten, it began to lessen. And then one day, I remember really distinctly that I had gone back into a state of pressure. And it was about Christmas presents. I mean, this is how the mind works. Like, it doesn't really care about the subject. It's just going to shoot off pressurizing thoughts. So the state that I got into was, I need to get everybody Christmas presents. Everybody must have a present. And oh my God, it's already December 15th and there's no time and blah, 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 blah. And so the pressure thinking was there, and I didn't see it in the moment until I got into the car in a rushed state and I started the engine and it hit me. Why are you rushing, Grace? You're back in your habit. And just seeing that dropped me out of it. That's how simple this is. Just being hit with the clarity, the insight, through the feeling of rushing and the feeling of pressure. It's not that we can change our habitual thinking that comes in. We can certainly get a quieter experience of it. But see, the habit of pressurized thinking was still coming at me. And it just so happened to be about the subject of Christmas presents. And probably like a few days later, it was the subject of, I don't know, how, my dress is fitting me or not fitting me. And maybe a few days after that, it might have been about my relationship. The content is irrelevant. What's relevant is you begin to catch when you're coming from that level of pressure, that gun to your head. And that's literally a feeling of stress, tension, upset, urgency. Got to do it now. Life should be different. I should be further ahead. I should already have done this. I should. All of that is living in a pressure cooker. It's living with a gun to our head. In catching it that day in the car, it slowed me down. And instead of going out into the town, picking up presents I had no interest in and not really giving a damn about, how much things cost and just doing whatever I could to relieve myself of the pressure. Instead, I got present and literally bought good presents. That didn't necessarily mean my bank account was hit. Previous years, it was just a case of, just get any, it doesn't matter how much it costs, just get it, just relieve me of the pressure. When we're living with a gun to our head, we will often seek relief. And relief isn't always healthy. Because what we're doing when we're seeking relief from the gun is often just anything to make the feeling go away. And for some of my clients, the relief they go to is they stop working in their businesses completely. Like, they just don't want to go back to it. Whatever they were doing, they give up on it because they don't or didn't see at the time that they were living with a gun to their head about it. That's very innocent. Oh, the business is the problem. I'm just not going to go back there. Every time I try and launch or promote something, I just get into this. It's too much. I don't want to do this anymore. When we get freedom from the gun to our head, when we get a little hit of clarity about the pressure we're living in, wisdom will guide us. We won't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We won't suddenly just take ourselves away from everything we've built for a sense of relief. Like my example in the car, we'll realize it and get present and then see what makes sense to do. If it looks to you like what makes sense is to close or not complete everything you've built, I invite you to see what your wisdom would do when you're not coming at your business, your career, your body, your life with a gun to your head. It's also why many of us get the best ideas when we're not looking at it so closely. You know, I'm always inspired by examples of people who had deadlines and had to figure out a way to come up with a solution. And it's only when they gave up to a degree, they didn't give up on what they were doing. It's only when they gave up the level of pressure they were putting themselves under that the idea flew in. It's why many of us wake up in the morning, and if we're smart enough, we'll hear the direction or the idea. It's why we can step out of the shower and we've had a great idea. It's why we're just driving along and suddenly it hits us. Because we're not operating from the gun to the head. So I invite you today to consider that. What if it's not about not doing the thing that's causing you, looks like it's causing you so much stress? What if it's not so much about not doing that thing anymore, and it's more about noticing through your feeling state when you're actioning from a gun to your head, and then letting that quieten a bit and seeing what makes sense to do next from a place where that's not running the show. Because when the gun is not running the show, we have access to greater intelligence. We have access to deeper wisdom. We have access to clarity of thought. We become focused rather than scattered. We go from habitually pushing and urging and stressing and striving to moving into alignment and allowing a flow. We're still highly productive. We might even still be quite fast with what we're doing. But our experience of what we are doing or trying to achieve is so much more graceful. It doesn't leave us on the sofa with an on-off experience. Foot's on the gas, foot's off the gas, foot's on the gas, foot's off the gas. It doesn't leave us in that state. It allows us to be more consistent. It allows us a level of sustainability that we can realistically keep going with. What are you hearing in this? How can I help you today? Let's open up to some questions. See what's occurring, if anything. What's helpful, what's not. Anything you need from me today, or anything you want to hear more about, type it in the chat box or come on with the voice or the video. We got a quiet group today. That's good. That's good. Just as another way of recognizing the gun, how you talk to yourself, the level of harshness with which you are speaking to yourself. You know, a number of clients that I've worked with have innocently picked up the voice of some dictator, maybe a family member they grew up with. In all cases, it just looks like Bob the drunk guy to me, whether it's somebody from the past or not. We all know Bob is that man at the end of every street corner in a big city, and he's shouting obscenities and he's drinking some form of alcohol. He's out of his mind, he's off his head. And normally we just walk past, we might feel sorry for him, we might give him a few pounds, or we might just keep walking. We certainly wouldn't go to him for advice. And yet we all have Bob in our head. We've learned to listen to him. And for some of you, the way that Bob shows up is with a real harshness, a real critical voice, in order to help you get stuff, in order thinking, and it's helping you get stuff done. Being hard on yourself is optional. It has no relationship to your ability to action things. Being mean to yourself is not a prerequisite to success. Being mean to yourself, I should be further ahead. I shouldn't be lying on the couch. My life should be different. I should have the dishes done. I shouldn't look like this. I shouldn't wear this. I should not. All of that is just Bob coming at you with a flavor of pressure, and has no relationship to whether or not you get stuff done, fulfill the business, launch the program, lose the weight, find the man or the woman. Doesn't matter. A gentler internal world is more supportive, not just to your well-being, but to you actioning things. A gentler internal world that is not flavored with a ton of what I call watching yourself, evaluating yourself, focusing on yourself. It's so much more conducive to a nicer experience of life. So much more conducive. So you really want to just notice the feeling you're in and the voice you're coming from. Catherine, thank you for writing this in. Let me see. Could you please talk a bit about the difference between procrastinating because of the gun to your head and procrastinating because you actually don't really want to do the thing, but are telling yourself that you do? Yes, Catherine, let me talk a little bit. Let me see what comes to me for that. Procrastinating because of the gun to your head. Procrastinating because you actually don't really want to do the thing, but you're telling yourself that you do. I love this. This is brilliant. So I'm going to give you my own example and just see what comes. But I was invited to a beautiful event last week. And all day long, I didn't want to go. But my pressure thoughts, the gun to my head was telling me, if you don't go, they're going to say, they're going to notice, they're going to be disappointed, you're going to miss out. That's going to be like the second or third time they've invited you and you haven't gone. In other words, Bob was just kicking off big time. And then I would feel myself going back to, I'm tired. I don't really want to go. So I went about my day in a certain level of noise. And then at the end of my work day, I went out for a walk with my dog Celestino, and I sat down at the local coffee bar near my house. And I'm sitting there and I'm still thinking, oh, this is nice. This is not, I don't think I want to go. And I go to the shop and I buy a present, a gift for this person and this event. And I even had myself dressed. I even had everything. I was ready to go. And then I came back to the house and I just didn't find myself going. And I sent a message and I said, I'm sorry, it's so last minute. I'll be honest, it's a bit lame. I just don't feel up to it. I hope you understand. I hope you have a wonderful time and I'll see you soon. And the sense of relief was great, you know. And then I worried a little bit again, like, oh God, now they're all going to say. But what I want to share with you in that, Catherine, and everybody is, see, you can argue with your wisdom all day long, but you can trust that in the end, you'll find yourself doing the thing or not doing the thing. Even if you've been back and forth all the time on it, you'll find yourself doing it or not doing it. So for me, the difference about procrastinating because of pressure and procrastinating because you don't really want to do it, it doesn't matter. You know, you'll find yourself either doing things or not doing things. And you can trust that. You can trust your wisdom, your knowing to inform you. You have the same level of wisdom built into you, the same GPS system as I do, as everybody does. You know, you might have Bob going off in your head about the things you should be doing. You might have Bob going off in your head about procrastination. Don't forget, that's another way that we put a gun to our head. We evaluate our procrastination. We evaluate what we're getting done and what we're not getting done. It's all flavors of the same crap, which is there's a gun to your head about what you think you should and shouldn't be doing. And either way, you'll find yourself doing or not doing. And it's okay. Similar to the story I shared on last week's clinic, I was evaluating, I was in this beautiful feeling. I was walking along the countryside roads and I was deciding whether or not I was going to have an English breakfast or just coffee when I got to the cafe bar. And that took me out of the moment, because instead of looking at the trees and being in the nice feeling I was in, I was starting to evaluate what I was going to eat when I got there. And I told myself all the reasons I wouldn't have the English breakfast, only to discover that when I got to the coffee bar, it just flew out of my mouth. I'll have the English breakfast, please. In the moment, we know what we want. And in the moment, we know what to do. And we could be, quote unquote, procrastinating for months on end. At some point, life moves us to do or not do. And it's trusting that. It's that connection. It's getting comfortable with that. That makes all the difference in your world. Catherine, let me know, did that help? Did you hear anything in that? If you have another question around it, or you want me to share from another angle, please let me know. I'm finding myself writing a non-fiction book instead of the novel I'm supposed to be writing. Thank you for your answer. Great, keep going. I love when people say, I'm finding myself instead of. It's a really, really good indicator that divine mind is working through you and you're listening. That's for all of us. I find myself lying on the sofa instead of getting the dishes done. Great. Stay on the sofa. That's where you're meant to be in that moment. I find myself coming to coaching clinic instead of, I don't know, reading up on how to make $1 million. Great. Be at the coaching clinic. It'll lead you there. So, I find myself instead of, thank you so much, Catherine. It's such a beautiful indicator. You're on track. Leslie, thanks, Grace. This helps let the sunshine into my mind. Good, honey. Good. You want to trust what you find yourself doing instead of evaluating what you think you're supposed to be doing. You want to trust where you find yourself at this stage in your life instead of evaluating where you should be by now. You want to find yourself moving into the new chapter instead of putting a ton of pressure on yourself to come up with some new chapter about your life. You want to find yourself being lived, being moved to all that you are here to experience and enjoy and do. So with that in mind, and before we finish, I'll take a couple of minutes. If you have a question, write it in. I'm still here. If you have a question, if you something you want to hear more deeply about, there's something that relates to you, write it in. I want to share with you that on Thursday, I will have a free workshop based on the subject of your new chapter. So if you'd like to get a taste of that program that is currently on offer, there's an early bird offer until Saturday, July 30th. If you'd like to get a taste of that program, you can check out the link that I've just sent to everyone. And you can also come to the free workshop I'm giving on Thursday. This program will be available for 4 consecutive weeks. It's a paid program and it's throughout August. We begin August 10th. And it's there to really support you in really lifting the gun from your head and really moving into a space of alignment and action without a ton of pressure. It's there to reconnect you to divine mind so that you're hearing your direction more clearly, more deeply, and you're finding yourself in that direction rather than living life with shoulds and have tos and supposed tos and I wish, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's an opportunity for a small group of us to go deep. If you enjoy the coaching clinic, if you get a lot from the coaching clinic, I mean, this is just on a whole other level. And some of you have taken the course with me already. The first round was we launched in May, June. And some of you are continuing to take it again with this fresh content that I'll be sharing. So I invite you to check that out and to come and join me there for those 4 weeks. It's a wonderful kickstart. And if for no other reason at all, you will gain freedom of mind from this noise in your head that is literally putting a lid on your life and giving you an experience of life that is less than graceful. So if for no other reason to go on this journey together, let's go on the journey together so that you gain freedom of mind from Bob. I'm not saying Bob's going to go away forever. He doesn't, but he will get quieter and you will find yourself living in more feelings of alignment, well-being, liberation, yes, just easiness. You will find yourself being moved into greater levels of creativity, greater levels of service, greater levels of just enjoyment of where you are right now and what you're doing now. And for those of you that are coaches, teachers, healers, you've probably heard this from me before, but people know you and come to you based on the feeling they get from you. It's not always about having the perfect words and having the best offers and having the right price. People are connected soul to soul, feeling to feeling. And so this is an opportunity for you to be in a level of personal and professional development through these consecutive weeks together to move you into that feeling of service, of well-being, and just filling up your cup to be able to give to others. People will feel the shift in you, and people want more of that because we all recognize well-being. It's who we are at core. It's who we are and it's what we want. So gracefulcoaching.com/your new chapter. And I'm very excited because I can also put the free workshop in here today. Imagine that. So the free workshop that you can join with me too is happening on Thursday. And it's here somewhere. Let's get that up for you. Here we go, the free workshop, just RSVP on that, and you'll get the details. There you go. I hope everybody got that. And if you have any questions, let me know. So anybody want to share, ask a question?
Hi, Grace.
Hi, Parwinder, is that you?
It is.
Hi. What have you got? Let me know.
Yeah, just to share really. I've been in bed since Friday, so it's been very interesting. Yeah, just like that slowing down. Like initially, the first day was not feeling great, so couldn't do anything. But even as it's progressed, it's the just not pushing to be any to be moving forward or doing anything. And even though in my head I'm like, yeah, I've got these things I need to get done, there's an opportunity for me to get this complete. And then this morning I did a coaching call, and it was just incredible. Like you just speaking about the feeling that we're offering people really is what they connect to. And it just turned out it was the perfect time for this person as well, because they were just going into an interview, and they were just like, wow, like this is incredible, because I feel like I don't need to do any preparation for my interview through the conversation that happened. And it had just so many facets of it, but it was just, I think, interesting just to flow with what came up. And I wasn't planning it today but it just, yeah, when you just sit with it and just go with what comes up and show up to what shows up, I guess, it's very powerful.
Yeah. Presence is powerful, presence is so healing for people.
Yeah.
And I heard you say, Parwinder, you in this space of life has slowed you down. Now we don't all have to get sick or be in bed in order to slow down. We don't want our experience of life to just be based on that sort of experience to slow down. We want to just get discerning of when we're going too hard and too fast. And we want to then be gentle with ourselves to just, again, notice that that's the gun to the head. Notice that that's us listening really, really intently to Bob for a long time. And then come back to center, come back to presence. The feeling you live in is what people sense. We're like animals. We just sense it. And that's what I find so hopeful and so helpful as I go about promotions or service or selling or launching or even just showing up and doing media interviews. I don't worry too much these days about the words being accurate and precise. I'm more interested in the feeling I'm living in and coming from, because when that's there, people notice it in all of us. That goes for all of us. People notice energetically the feeling you're coming from.
Yeah. Oh, what I wanted to share from that as well is actually, so it was interesting to hear them say, this has been just beyond what they could have imagined. And then when I've finished the call, I'm feeling the same as what they're describing.
Yeah.
And that, almost like that high of they're relieved because they now are prepared without even prepare. It's like they were prepared without preparing. Yeah. And it was like it's easier than what I heard from it. It's like, it was almost like, could it be this easy that it's done? Because I even said, like, just take the space this afternoon, don't cram in more stuff. Mm-hmm. That you seem to have enough that you need, and just take the space. And yeah, so I was feeling exactly what they were feeling as well, even though they're the ones going through the process.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's how connected we all are. That's how that's why the greatest thing you could do for anyone, because it's not just a selfish act, is to live in a good feeling.
Mm.
And just bring it to everything and everyone. The world can't help but notice, and it impacts everything you do. Thank you for sharing, Poinder. Thank you, darling. Get well soon.
Oh, you look beautiful, by the way. It's so great seeing you here.
Thank you, honey. Ciao. Thank you. Okay, everybody. So I'll keep you posted on when Coaching Clinic will resume. I hope to see you on our event on Thursday and at our gorgeous 4-week program. Don't forget, those of you that were on the 4-week program with me originally, if you're interested in rejoining for this fresh content and going deeper, you can get that at the original price you paid. The program is at a higher price than it was originally. And so if you were with me before, you get it at the original price you paid. So just get in touch. That's until Saturday, July 30th. Until Saturday, July 30th. All right, everybody. Great to have been with you today. Lots of love. Enjoy your August. Bye.